Yes, good people, big up to all of you, and welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. My voice is a bit way better than it was yesterday and 2 days ago. But more importantly, I appreciate you all finding the time to join me on Chelsea Perspective for another live Chelsea show. We don't have too much to talk about. We will address some news items, some reports on player comments, and all that. And as the show progresses, if anything new emerges, the rest assured we will address them, and then we'll get to talk about the game with the questions you have or your observations from the game. You can state whatever you observed from the game in the comment section, and yeah, if it is worthy, we will address it. But more importantly, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. I appreciate you all. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. All right. Yes, people, once again, big up to all of you. As I said, we don't have too many stuff lined up to talk about, but the little we have lined up, we'll talk about it you can say a lot, as much as we can. See it from different perspectives. Your opinions, my opinion, and the opinion of the panelists overall. Just by the way, we will start by talking about Chelsea Football Club's interest in Ajax goalkeeper. His name is Diant. I don't know if you pronounce it Diant Ramaj. I don't know him. But maybe it does make sense a bit, but the sources, I don't trust them. Alto Belly 13 and CFC Bayern are the two sources you can spread in that particular report. I don't know him. I don't know how good he is. I don't follow Ajax that much, except when they play in the Champions League. But it does make sense to a certain extent, given the fact we've already heard that Chelsea will be looking to offload, what's his name, Robert Sanchez in the summer. How truthful that is, I honestly do not know. But that's, by the way, Phil, let me ask you quickly, big up to you, Phil, and thank you for finding the time to join me on the panel. Do you know him? Do you know the Ajax goalkeeper, Deanta Ramaj?
Big up, coach. Big up,
Yeah, big
everyone
up
in
to
the
you too.
panel. Unfortunately, I don't know him. I don't watch Ajax at all. In
Mhm.
fact, I don't watch the Eredivisie or at times these other leagues like the Liga, and I don't watch. Maybe it's just one or two games, but I don't
Just give me a
really
second.
know
Go
him.
ahead, I'm coming.
So for me to actually judge him, I can't say anything because I don't know him and I haven't watched anything regarding Ajax and how they play. So that's just the thing.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll be with you. Just adjusting something in my camera. So, yeah, but thank you for that. I appreciate you all. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We have just 2 likes. I think we should be doing way better than that. Let me see what else we have here. Those in the chat. No matter from the first in the chat today, um, he's saying, what is he saying? Saying Gallagher deserves the new contract. If you think so, let's see what else we have here. Um, the sooner Poch leaves, the better. Okay, let's see. So you don't want him to be gone with Gallagher, and this name is a strange one for me to pronounce here. It says Poch Starling to the C. Badia Shile out. I'm suspecting who's is this Briani Aha? You could be him, but that's fine with whoever it is. I appreciate you for finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Big up, Coach. Big up to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Also, we move on to the next item we have lined up. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And if this is your first time here, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate that. And quickly, I want to appeal to those of you who are watching, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you. And that's because you watching alone does go a long way. But please do us one more favor, one tiny mini favor, which is to take a second and drop a like on the stream for us. And we have a funny viral videos saying a second punch right now doesn't solve any of our problems. I think I agree with you. But to an extent, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think any other manager would want to come to us now without requesting that we sign players here and there. I think Poch is the guy to help us nurture these kids to a certain level. But beyond that, I have my argument, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. I do think if we intend, as reported, if in fact we want to sell Robert Sanchez in the summer, then it's important that we sign another goalkeeper that will challenge Georgi Petrovic, who's proven to be the better goalkeeper of the two goalkeepers we have right now. Yeah, the next item talks about Trevoh Chalobah. It says Trevoh Chalobah on Mauricio Pochettino. He's a brilliant manager who will always protect us. We are always going to fight for him. We will always fight for the manager. And we showed that versus Leeds United. Here's the thing, Trevoh Chalobah is actually a good defender, and I have my argument as to why I think the club that I think Chelsea are willing to sell him because he pushed to leave. And at the time, rumors were after we signed, was it this C, that he was going to push to leave. That may well not be the case. I just do not know. And I think the manager has shown that he trusts him. And if he starts and plays very well, chances are he stays on, except if he's on a contract that's very different from the sort of contract that the Chelsea owners aren't willing to offer to players these days. But we'll find out. I like him. I want him to stay. He brings something different. He's a no-nonsense defender. So you can say still have a bit of you can say a little bit more to learn to become a mature defender, but I think he will get there. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes will go a long way. And instead of saying Trev is getting game time, so he can be sold for a good price in the summer. That may well be the case. But if he proves to be better than what we have, I don't think the club would consider selling him. But that's just my opinion anyway. We have the chairman of the Goalkeepers Union in the house, Roger, I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. I'm going to start with you right away. And that's because it's going to be a short one, and we want to start keeping the show as short as possible. We will be experimenting with quite a lot to see what works, what will ensure that we stay consistent as possible. But Roger, the first question I want to ask you, does it make sense that we're looking for a goalkeeper? In my opinion, I've said yes, and that's because Robert Sanchez looks like you can say he isn't Chelsea level, in my opinion. But let's hear you, Roger.
Yeah, I totally concur. Hello, by the way.
Hello to you too, brother.
To be honest with you, I was very disappointed in Sanchez last night. I thought he was at best quite shaky, rocky. His distribution was poor. I don't understand why other content providers think he's superior and is the better number one option.
Oh yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I remember we did talk about that yesterday, right?
Yeah, and they say primarily because he's a better shot stopper and because of his distribution is better than Petrovic's. I'm not sure what films they watch, what games they watch, because I don't see that at all. At all. In fact, he invited pressure. He should never have passed it to, well, perhaps to Disasi, but Disasi should have cleared it. Once he saw the person out wide come and press, Caicedo, then he should have booted it long in the first place. It was just in the first 7 minutes. You don't do that in the first 10 minutes. You don't invite pressure on yourself. And that's what I've been illustrating, pointing out, that since Petrovic has been on number one, what he does is not so much that he makes better passes, which he does, it's the fact that he automatically boots it downfield, clears the lines. He doesn't invite pressure on himself or his defensive colleagues. And That's what he's done unequivocally thus far. That doesn't mean to say that he doesn't have errors in him. Every keeper does in today's modern game. You look at
Even
Liverpool.
the programmed machine every now and then.
Well, look at City's. Look at City's keeper. He's made multiple mistakes in the last month or so that have led to conceding goals. He's one of
he
the
made one against us. We could have gotten one against from his error trying to dribble Jackson.
Well, he did the game before. He conceded a goal because he totally made a faux pas. Listen, it's part of the game. However, listen, we were lucky last year that Kepa really he was very consistent playing with his feet. I've heard that he hasn't been the case this year. And so far Petrovic has carried that continuity going forward. He's been quite disciplined with regards to distribution. So is he world class? No, but he's so young. He's 24, I believe. So he's far from him reaching the window of his peak. So, he's got a lot to learn still. I think he can turn into a very solid, if not elite keeper, potentially. But we definitely need a backup eventually. I don't think Sanchez wants to stay as a number 2. At least
I'm not using the language. We definitely need a challenger for Petrovic because
that's never a bad thing.
A backup, go ahead.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing. I personally would prefer someone in their early to mid 30s for several reasons. One, they've seen it all before. And if they're going to only be playing in domestic cups, then they'll be fine with that. But I'm not talking about Bettinelli, who is not Premier League material. I mean that respectfully, but he's just not. And so you want someone that's played there, has been there at a high level. I'm talking about a high level, and is content to be a backup. And so, and with that experience comes the fact that when you have to come on in case, God forbid, of an injury, or sending off, that that person has been there, seen it, done it all. And so therefore I get the logic about pushing someone, but in this position, because let's say 80% of the time you're going to be starting anyway, that player should be self-motivated anyway. And that position is a niche position. So I think it's the norm to actually have a veteran backup. And I use that term backup because essentially it is a backup position, It's seldom can you have 2 elite quarterbacks. I mean, goalkeepers, vying for the same position. One person is not going to be happy sitting on the bench 80% of the time. They're just not. So, yes, it does give competition. But look at Arsenal currently. You have Diaz and you have the English keeper. I forgot his name. And guess what? He wants to leave. He's not content with being a backup. And this is the norm. It can last 1, possibly 2 seasons, but that's about it. If you want continuity and you want, let's say, someone for a 3 to 5 year window, you want someone with veteran experience. And I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, the goalkeeping position, I think you were the first I heard that argument from, is in the position where you rotate players that which you want continuity, consistency. If you're talking about outfield players, then competition matters a lot. But for the goalkeeping position, it's definitely always difficult to get a world-class goalkeeper that will be content with being a backup goalkeeper. And you used the perfect example there. If you're dropping the likes on the stream, people, the likes to go along with 4 likes. We should be doing way better than that. Let's see what else we have here. And if you're following the show on Instagram, please be sure to be tapping your screen to help us gather more likes. Let's see what else we have here. Hello to you too. I appreciate you finding time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. And my bro, Tobago is in the house. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join us. And when you get a chance, share the link to your YouTube channel so people can go check it out. And big up from Richard Moneymakers, legend Roger, and what I have heard of my friend that at Chelsea, don't think Pochettino has the mentality. Okay, right now we're talking about Robert Sanchez. Let's try the best we can to keep the topics aligned. That helps us well. human beings. As much as I like to interact with you, if we switch between topics just like this, I'm a little human being. I would get exhausted easily even before we get to the. We'll go halfway into the show. And big up to you too, Vic. I appreciate you. This is for you, Vic. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And Jesse is in the house, panel and chat. I thank you, Jesse, for finding the time to join us. Roger, let's talk about Trevoh Chalobah's performance on the day. I think he did well for a player. No worries, no worries. Rich money makers, we're not fighting. We're not fighting. Rich money makers, relax, bro. It's all love. It's all love. And Jesse, this is for you. Appreciate you. Let's talk about Trevoh Chalobah. He did very well for a player that hasn't been part of the team for a while. He came in and he did a very good job, in my opinion. And that's a good defender in him. I think you could argue his rumored departure at the time during the summer transfer window, you could say it was manufactured. And a lot of people believed it. And it became even more believable given the fact that Bayern pushed to sign him. And but let's hear your opinion. I think if he does well enough, why sell him? Especially if he does better than the defenders we have. I get it. He's made a few, I wouldn't call it even high-profile mistakes. I think people were judging him too much at the time. But let's hear you. What do you make of this situation, Roger?
Well, this is his first start this entire season. So we've played 36 games. So his first start, he's missed 35. You have to give him a little bit of slack for that, to be honest with you, to get up to speed. You can't duplicate game time speed in practice. But he's also not a 16-year-old. I'm not sure what his age is. I have to look it up.
Should be around at most 23, but let me check for you. Go ahead. I'll find out for you.
He's 24 and a half years of age. So
you have to express it open, right?
A veteran, but he's not exactly a. Yeah. I totally forgot his age. So listen, I think.
Go ahead.
I think honestly, he had a decent game. Could he have done better with that second goal? I think he should have, in my opinion. But he was okay for his first game back. I thought, listen, we have to accept the fact that defensively we're vulnerable, especially aerially. I'm not sure how to look up this stat, but I'd like to see where we rank in the Premier League with regards to conceding headers, because I think we're quite poor at it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think the stats we have here on FOTMOB, I don't think there's nothing, any of them, you could say, addresses that, but go ahead, yeah.
But with the exception of Silva, who's very good aerially. I thought Badiashile was good, but listen, I haven't seen virtually any of him this season. So this season is a wash for him. And then you look at Disasi. Disasi, a week ago, played the game of his career thus far, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
and then the following game,
the following several games, he's looked poor. He's looked really poor. In fact, the game before and the game prior to the game before, the subsequent game prior to the final, he was on shaky ground. This is symptomatic of being youthful, of being this young. He's not that young. He's 25, but just generally, when you lack leadership all over the field, we're the youngest squad in the Premier League, and it shows. You lack leadership all over the field. I wrote in Mitchie's chat, forget comparing us to other eras, because we're not. There's not one player in our squad that would make it in Roman Abramovich's era. Not one as a starter. Maybe you could say Reece, but then again, he's not fit enough. You need to be available first to be fit enough to play. And okay, so I will concede Reece when fit. There's not one other player that would start for Chelsea in the last 20 years, in my opinion. From let's say 2003 to 2022. There's not one, not bloody one. So put that in perspective. You need to seriously think about what I've just said, and contextualize that, and therefore reset your expectations. You know, we are not winning the Champions League anytime soon. We're not even in the competition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so because yes, I understand youth is or age is relative. I get that. You could be very young team and still win the Premier League, but how common is that? No, the average winning age, I've seen the stats on it. It's usually middle of the park. It's usually on the older side. Have there been exceptions? Yeah, I think Chelsea have the oldest team that's won the Premier League and the youngest team to ever win the Premier League.
On the youngest
I get
under Jose Mourinho. I can't remember who won with the oldest. Yeah.
But these were all world-class players that turned out to be world-class. There's not one player right now you can say that. I mean, let's be honest, virtually every one of our starters wouldn't be starting for the top 6 teams in the Premier League, not one. Maybe a Palmer, and that's debatable. He certainly wouldn't fit into Arsenal's. Probably, is he going to be playing where Salah plays? No. You know, I don't know. You know, do you see where I'm coming from? And he's our best player, probably. You know, even the keeper, who I think is our best player probably this season, him and Palmer. No, they're not.
Right.
They're just, let's be honest.
All right, let's give those in the chat the microphone. We'll come back to the panel in a beat. Big up to you, to the Chelsea boy at 12:34. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Just saying hello to people there. I think so. Let's see what else we have here. And Trevoh has shared the link to his YouTube channel. Go check it out, people. Let's help him get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Trevoh, more importantly, I appreciate you finding the time to join. Chalobah needs a selling for profit. Possibly that may well.
See, that's another factor. See, that's another factor because he's pure profit. If he wasn't, had we purchased him for, let's say, 20 million, he wouldn't be on the chopping block. If we do sell him and if we are required for financial purposes, we may not have a choice to move certain players on because of PSR.
All right.
That is part of the equation.
Let's complete the Trevoh Chalobah conversation and move to the next item we have lined up here. If I see anything that is in the line, I will skip that so it doesn't lead us to the direction we don't want to go. Big up to you too. Let's see. Coach, what happened to your stream? It looks different, but I don't like it. Okay. Here's the thing. I can deal with you. YouTubers are not liking it, but we are going to be experimenting quite a lot. The last time we used it, in one go, we gained 200 plus subscribers. It just pushes the stream to more people. So I've been working a few days now trying to figure out how to stream the vertical version and then the full screen version at the same time. And but I don't like using streaming without StreamYard. The suggestion is that I use just OBS alone, just the software, and create 2 streams. So let's see whether the company will help, or maybe I have to find a solution for us myself. Let's see what happens. And keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And then as Coach, where are the babies? Josh, I do not know, but just more importantly, big up to you for finding the time to join the show, and this is for you. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Let's see anything else. Says been a bit. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to you too, Vic. Nice to see you. Big Sam said, you got to fix the defense. Yeah, that's his thing. I think his teams. He always every team that I remember that he's coached. Are usually defensively solid. That's his approach, in my opinion. Let's see anything else. Anything else here? Trevoh Chalobah is 24 and 25 on the 25th of July. Okay, just let's stick with 24. When he's 25, then we say he's 25. Big Sam is looking for a job. Okay. Do I think he'd get the Chelsea job? I don't think so. Maybe there are other clubs fighting relegation that may well reach out to him because he's good at helping teams stay up. I think he's failed once. What's that team that beat us under Thomas Tuchel that later got relegated?
Yeah, last year.
What team?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Was it?
I can't recall, but he's been relegated once last year.
Was it West Brom? Was it West Brom?
Could have been.
I think it was West Brom.
Could have been. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with. And if you are on a mobile device and you want this to go full screen, just swipe up and it will go full screen on a mobile device. Josh is saying that's fair. Compare Keith to Leiden makes sense. But you got to understand his point, though. You heard it here first, Coach. Jackson is not Drogba. Oh, yeah. I think I know that. He's not Didier Drogba. And I've always said, let Jackson be Jackson, even before the man decided deploying him on the flanks. He was never a striker, even at Villarreal, where he played his final season for them. He played as a striker, but not even full season. But that's just my opinion anyway. And you can see that he's actually better off on the flanks than he is centrally as number 9 for us. But thank you for saying that too. Roger, in Abramovich at times, Poch would have been fired 8 times. How many months has he been on the job? 8 months. Okay. Let's see anything else. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Poch playing a defensive against a championship team was laughable. Okay. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with Coach Roger. We are drifting from the point. The main point is that the squad is good enough. We never talked about the squad being good enough this morning. So we were discussing Trevoh Chalobah, and Roger was making a point that led him to start talking about that. So yeah, but
it's not about JC. It's not about deflection, Albin. It truly isn't. You have to understand this. For instance, if we had another coach, let's just call him Coach B. Okay, am I saying that maybe we could be doing better? Yes. I'm not saying that he is the best coach in the world. Having said that, though, this is the youngest team in the Premier League, and guess what? What have we seen on a consistent basis this year? Defensive errors and missing opportunities.
Nothing has been consistent, except the fact that we're inconsistent.
So when you and that's symptomatic of a youthful team. You'll hear players talk about it constantly, former players, retired players, and guess what? Whether you have another coach or not, guess what? They're still going to miss chances. Just because you're let's look at Gallagher. He missed 3 opportunities. 2 of them were good saves, though, or 1 hit the post. Guess what? That another coach is not going to make him put that 3rd chance in the corner, high bins. No, it's not. The players execute. It's that simple. They are responsible for their lack of execution. It's that simple. It's coaches coach, players play. It's that simple.
Yeah, let's move on from that. Let's not. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't understand why. Listen, I get it. It's always going to be the coach or manager, however you want to term that position. They get all the praise when a team wins, and they get all the blame when a team loses. But I get that. But we have to understand these are fine margins. We missed 5 big chances in the cup final. That has nothing to do with whoever is standing on the sideline. It just isn't. It's that simple. And the sooner everyone can comprehend that simple fact, then guess what? The simple you can get over it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roger. Sincerely, do I appreciate that. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to Rich Money Makers just saying hello to Roger. That championship side has 6 straight wins before yesterday. Actually, 12. Actually, more than 6. Actually, they haven't lost in like 12 games or so. So they were a very strong side. We actually did well against them. It wasn't the best of performances from Chelsea players, but I'll take it anyway. Let's see what else we have here. Just something. I think we're having an issue here streaming on Instagram.
Can I ask you something, Coach? Are you not using StreamYard?
I'm using StreamYard right now. I'm not, but I'm trying. This format grows the channel quicker than any other thing because it reaches those you have more people viewing a vertical content than a full screen content.
Oh, you're talking about mobile devices, right?
Mobile devices also. You can say that also. So I want to find a way to be doing both at the same time.
I get you.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see what more we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I need to sort out thing here. It's not connecting properly to Instagram, so I'm just gonna take it off. So let's move on. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Let's see. Would Chelsea have benefited with a Giroud type of player? You can say yes. I think yes, it's excellent. Really, he's a fine finisher. I know a lot of people, you can say, didn't rate him that much when he was still with us. But when he left, I think that was when we realized what a player he was for us.
Well,
at the time,
he's very
you sounded
technical.
as if, you sound as if you're digging for excuses so much. So I'm gonna skip for this because we were talking about when we were talking about Trevoh Chalobah. Roger was trying to make a point when he got into that. Messi is the GOAT. Okay, thank you for saying that, Lynn Van. Leeds last. Okay, we're not talking about that right now. Let's move on. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And if you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel. Hi from Ukraine. I think Chalobah played well. I think he played well. And I will still say this. I get it. The argument will always be that the club will sell him for profit. But if he does well, and especially if he does better than some of the defenders on our within our ranks, I think the club will sell the players. You sell one of those players and knock him. You want the best players to stay. I don't see a situation where if he performs, for instance, but I don't think he'd do better than the Sassi. I think the Sassi will at one point start being consistent. If the team overall start being consistent, a lot of those players will start performing consistently. For instance, if Trevoh Chalobah proves to be the better player, proves to be better than the Sassi, I don't see the club selling him and keeping the Sassi. The club, that's just my opinion anyway, but we'll find out. Why was Enzo trying to fight the fan? I don't know. I didn't see the situation, bro. Spiritual mess. I didn't see that. I didn't witness that. Roger is right, but the manager isn't helping the situation. And by the way, I'm going to say this. A lot of people, whenever they hear Roger speak about they jump to the conclusion that Roger is Poch in. I think Roger always likes to he likes to play the devil's advocate. He likes to see things, or you say to be as perspective. You say just 1 second, Roger.
Yeah,
he likes to be as objective as possible. Go ahead if you wanted to add to that. Let's move on.
So here's the deal, and I'll mention it. It's not about excuses, gentlemen and ladies. It's about giving time. It takes time. I would assume for most sports, especially team sports, specifically, as opposed to if you're a single tennis player or a single golfer, it takes time for, especially when it's a youthful team, to gel, to understand conceptually what is expected of each person. In formations, what is required. It doesn't happen overnight. Otherwise, Klopp would have gone there and won everything the first year. Same with Pep. Don't forget Pep took over a team that I think 2 seasons prior, the year before he took over, they had won the Premier League, the penultimate year, I mean. So this was a team that had won and had been a shall we say, Premier League candidate to win. There were contenders, not pretenders. Do you understand? He took over. No, I'm not diminishing Pep by any means. I think he's probably the best manager / coach in the world, but it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Otherwise, you'd have Pep or Klopp or Ancelotti. I just use Pep just as obviously it comes to mind first. But otherwise, they'd be taking over teams like Scunthorpe or Grimsby Town. No disrespect to those teams, and they'd be winning the Champions League. If a manager could fix everything, guess what? They would be. You wouldn't have to spend billions to buy a team. You just get a manager, and voila. No, players play, coaches coach. Yes, you win as a team and you lose as a team. It helps if you have an able, shall we say, competent and maybe elite manager. That doesn't hurt, of course, But you have to understand it takes a myriad of facts, good training staff, good depth, a lot of luck also. There's a myriad of reasons why a team wins and loses. Over the length of a season, for instance. And that's what you need to take into consideration. I think it's cheap, and I mean this politely. I think it's a cheap shot when just get rid of the manager, because we live in a climate, in a society where he's been here 7 months, 36 games, get rid of him. That's not enough time. Then guess what? Sir Alex Ferguson would never be Sir Alex Ferguson. If you take that mentality now, he would never have won a thing. Neither would Klopp. Klopp didn't win anything until his 4th season. Think about that. I think it was Sir Alex. It took him his 6th or 7th year to win his first Premier League title. Think about that. So if you take that mentality, you have to be patient.
Roger, can we talk about this? Let me ask you this quickly, Roger, if you don't mind.
Is not patient. Go for it.
I understand, but these days, Roger, let me ask you this. These days, we're just having a conversation, and I understand your point. Chances are, if you give a manager that much time, chances are things will click, or things will fall into place, and they will become a success in any club. But do you see any club, Manchester United, let's what we call the typical top 6 club, top 8 in these days? I think there are up to top 8 clubs. Do you see them given any manager that much time these days, like 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, even 4 years without winning anything?
Probably not.
I don't see that happening. That's because the more you're outside the more you don't participate in a European competition, the less money you earn. So these days, the need to earn money, to balance the books and all that has made it even difficult for clubs to keep managers performing.
No, that's a valid point, sir, because this isn't your father's or grandfather's sport anymore. It's a multi-billion $/pound/euro industry now. This isn't a little league anymore. I totally agree with you. These are serious players, these owners. They can't afford to be this patient anymore. I concede that fact. Times have changed. I get that. However, Arsenal, what year is this chap in now? His 4th year or 5th? 4th, I think, right? I know he finished 8th at least twice. I believe he finished 8th the first 2 or 3 seasons with Arsenal. So yeah, you can say that. Klopp was out of the Champions League his first year or 2. Now I understand 2 years ago or last year he missed it for the 2nd or 3rd time out of 9 seasons, but his team got injury ravaged. But do you understand? It happens. Yeah. So to your argument, actually, Arsenal have just done that. Last year was the first time that they've actually made the Champions League for the first time in how many years? So yeah, actually there are teams. And by the way, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he was given 3 years. I think he got a temporary position at first, and then he was granted full-time manager, and I think he lasted 3 years or 2.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's just Chelsea has this modus operandi. We're trigger happy. It's part of this culture. But we have to understand we don't have the same luxury of having an elite team that's very deep anymore, because we have financial restrictions in place now. We can't just go and splash the cash. There are ramifications from that.
And given what you just said, Roger, I think the owners are very smart to have signed a lot of young players, which means we're not going to be spending that much in the near future signing players. It's a good strategy. Then when people look back in a few years, they say, "Oh, no wonder why they did this." But that's, by the way, let me catch up, give those in the chat the microphone, come back, then we switch topic and see. We still have about 3 more items to address to see whether we can address that as quickly as possible and get to talk about the game yesterday. And Glenn 10, my bro, I appreciate you. I think I'd say that I know you well enough right now that you probably wouldn't want me to talk about the fact that you're the longest member of the the longest paid member of the community. That's why you have that badge. But I sincerely do appreciate that. I can't thank you enough. You've shown so much love to the community, and I'm sure everyone here appreciates you. Thank you so much, Glenn, once more. And this is for you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Glenn is saying our age shows that these players are constantly getting baited into confrontation with supporters. I think that makes sense. Confrontation with supporters, confrontation with opposition players too. They know we're very young, so it's easy. Look at Jackson having around how many yellow cards, and only one was from a foul. The rest was from his behavior on the pitch. Kids will always be kids, and that's how I like to see it. That's a delicious comment, by the way. Hazard, we should let Pochettino go into the summer along with Sterling. What? Hazard said that? Okay. Conor Gallagher he saved Chelsea on the day. You could say that. And that's how inconsistent these players have been. He missed, let's say, 10,000 chances against Liverpool, and then came on to be the savior on the day that we wanted. We needed the savior. Let's see what else we have here. Roger, what comes to mind is that Poch was very easygoing initially. I don't think he does a lot of tactics. As soon as he felt the heat, he started paying attention. But to be honest, he looks rather rattled, so to speak, rattled right now. That may well be the case. And if the pressure got to him, long may that continue. Because I've seen people that does well under pressure, and without pressure, they take things for granted. If that's the case, long may that continue. Because if he does well, our club would do well. And we have Maya the rapper in the house. So Maya, I appreciate you finding time to join the show. This is for you, brother. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for all your support for the community. Big up, coach, in the panel. Big up to you too, Maya. Nice to see you. I hope the case is that you've been busy. And he doesn't perform well when he is rattled as well. Let us not compare him with Alex Ferguson. We're not comparing him. You should. I don't. Maybe you don't.
No, I'm comparing the fact that he was given time. So it's contextualizing.
Yeah, exactly. So time given, not.
So I'm not comparing him saying he's as good as coach or better than Alex, whatever. No, I never said that. I'm talking about a prime example of someone being given time. Now, we could give 2 more seasons to Poch and we could end up 16th each time. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying there's only one way to find out. And I believe that this culture, especially this club in particular, with its fan base and former mentality, is, guess what? We're too trigger happy. And we did that because, listen, if that was the case, as I wrote in Mitchie's, guess who got us to the Champions League? It wasn't Mourinho. It wasn't Ancelotti. It wasn't Conte, etc. No. Who was it? Avram Grant and bloody Di Matteo. Would you put them in the same ilk as Ancelotti or Mourinho? No. But They did it because we had a deep bloody squad. Players play. So if you want to go by this definition, then they're the world's best coaches. Then Mourinho is a failure, because he didn't get us to even a final. So what do you have to say about that? If I use this logic that you chaps are using, then guess what? If we have one player that makes an incomplete pass, get rid of the manager. Do you want me to take your attitude every time we have a coach and you see one incompletion? Guess what? I'll do that. Go fire him. Fire him now. I can be that cretinous, okay? Because you have to understand, it's, as I said, it's a multitude of reasons why a team is successful or not, as the case may be. There is some luck. Yeah, I grant you that. But I'm not Poch in. I'm not Poch out. I'm saying give him time at least. Stop this trigger happy culture. It's, to me, I find it preposterous to say he needs to go. Now if we're losing 10-0 every game for the first 5 games of the season, 10 games, yeah, of course, then there's something wrong. Obviously, I'm being facetious with my extreme example, but I have to get my point across. I just think that it's too early, it's too premature to say. I don't know. I cannot read the future. I don't know whether Poch is the right man, but I believe he should be given at least a modicum of time for us to see whether he is indeed the right. When I say him, I'm also including his coaching staff, obviously. You know, I'm talking about the whole backroom staff. That's what I mean by that. And I just think, listen, also we don't have the financial wherewithal to keep on firing these coaches, because I believe their salaries as part of the equation for the Premier League's new financial rules, PSR. So that also is a factor. As I said, this is not the Roman era anymore. We can't go and write off £1.5 billion or dollars, whatever the currency was. We can't. These are new times. This is not the same time that we played with under Roman. So stop comparing eras. Times have changed. There are ramifications of new financial rules in place in Europe as well as the Premier League. And we need to come to that understanding.
All right, let me try the push. That's a bit again the best I can to catch up with what we have in the chat is it's bloated already. It's growing, not bloated. It's growing because everybody's opinion matters. Yeah, if Arteta was in charge of this team with this brand of players, we would be 100% further forward than where we are today. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but I think no, you cannot guarantee that will be the case. You have respect, bravery. Okay, yeah, whatever we see here. For average age is 28.6, but they are no near getting into top 6, and they have a lot of experience. It's not his thing. We've won, like Roger mentioned, we've won the league with the most experienced players and the least. You could say not experienced actually, with the least. With the youngest squad and also the oldest squad too. These owners don't know ball. Wow, Maya the rapper. I think I found a good name for you, and I'm gonna be going with that. Leeds United is a good team, yeah, no question. We knew that before time, but that was even the fact that they were a good team was the reason why I decided was the reason why I said, okay, you know what, we were gonna win that. Yeah, I didn't like you were going to win that. I keep dropping the lights on the stream, people. The lights do go a long way. Enzo Fernandez will sign a new contract in 2097, right? So let's get through the one that he's on right now. But then we'll talk about him signing a new contract when we get to that place. Keep dropping the lights on the stream, people. The lights do go a long way. Arsenal average age is 24.9. And if we get a few players back, we will be older than them. Okay, thank you for that information. They could say a lot of money. Yeah, well, I agree. But I think I'm not going to regret to signing Casado because it's an excellent player on him. I just want him to play further forward, to be unleashed. He has goals. He has assists in him. Let me just stick with that. Slash some cash on Vardy to balance the Enzo situation. But Vardy is still very young too, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, when a transfer season comes again, you will have spend another 300 million. I don't think so. Let's see anything else we have here. Keep dropping the lights on the stream, people. The lights do go along with Glenn, my bro. Much love to you. Let's see, at least spend it on a proper player. I think we have a very good squad. In my opinion, I have other arguments, but I'm not going to get that. And already this morning, I think we're closing into 20 subscribers this morning, so I appreciate you all. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show.
Yeah, but JC, it's still within the Premier League history. You know, he was managed within the Premier League, which is a relatively new league compared to the former, what we would call First Division. So it's still relevant.
You know? I hate our fans who say that Arteta would do a better job and all that, and everything else they've talked about. Tiba Salifa, Arteta's first 2 seasons were poor, despite having who is that? Golden Boot winner in Aubameyang in the 5 number 10s of our generation. Let's see anything else we have here. Let's see what Glenton has to say there. I cannot give him time. Let's see what else. We are a walking contradiction. in it for the long run, but buying in and setting up like we want to win straight away. Yeah, I think it sounds like that's the case. Poch out, according to Beho, you became Poch out a few days ago. Let's see, we cannot lower our expectations because of what we have built the last decade, and the owners cannot have that since they want money. I think you're the one suggesting they want money. Yeah, they want money anyway. Even if that's what you're suggesting, it's business first of all before anything else. But I think they understand that you wouldn't make enough or anything close to. You won't break even if you don't start winning, given how much you spent. A matter of finding a way in between. That means please stop spending 200 million on a single player. Yeah. And I think they're planning for that. I don't think we'll be spending a lot of money on players in the near future. We need to sell Sterling, Enzo, Mudryk, and Mudryk, okay, and buy Osimhen, Rafael Leao, and Kudus, and we are set for life. Wow, okay. Yeah, good idea. I hope the owners are watching. Jesse, let's hear you, please. And we're trying to move on from we're on Chalobah right now. I get it. The back and front from Roger is probably the reason why you joined the panel, but let's hear you.
Yeah, coach. Hello, Roger. Hi, everybody.
Hola.
I have literally like 5 minutes or something, but I just want to explain another viewpoint and for you people to understand like how our perception, like a different perception, why we like Poch outs, many of them. There is no agenda against Pochettino, no agenda. But why we feel like even with the good results, sometimes you look at the balance, because it took like 5 months to deliberate, and then they say like he's not good enough. Now some results are good, but still I would say like over the balance he has to be sacked, and I'll explain you why. When the manager is managing a game, and we see, let's take for example yesterday's game. Second half, he sees like in the halftime, Leeds were pepped up or whatever talk they got from their manager, and they came out fighting, really fighting out. And the manager said, okay, let's see 5 minutes. He would be thinking is like, okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, let's give these players to come back into the game. Our team was just sitting back and passing around sideways, and like we were, the team was really like enjoying, like slow, and like we are winning and just passing the time. A proper manager would change the situation. Poch doesn't see these things. He hardly ever influences the game. In the management, in-game management is poor. Now you can give him 10 years. If he doesn't see it, he doesn't see it.
Sure.
He might have Messi. If he doesn't see it, he still doesn't see it. And that is the reason, if he does not have the minerals, what's the point in wasting 10 years?
What did you just say? When did you join the minerals gang?
No, not the minerals of that mineral, but I'm saying is the ingredients. You can say if he does not have those basic ingredients.
I was just kidding. Go ahead. Let's say you just.
If he does not have this basic, you could argue, give an example of so many. I mean, look at, you gave example of Ancelotti. We were playing when Lampard went against him after Potter was fired. He had a very clear plan, like second leg, and they were defending, and all like easy going. And then he did one tweak. He said, "Okay, you guys are getting hold of this Benzema." He took off Benzema, put Rodrigo, changed, tweaked a little bit, and bang, in 2 minutes goal.
Don't forget. Don't forget Lampard.
He does not have that. He does.
Don't forget.
Another example.
Hold on. Don't forget.
One by one. Let's let him drop.
Let me explain. Then you can come back. Yeah. Another example. Tuchel, for example, he puts in Callum Hudson-Odoi, and he's brought in as a substitution, giving some instructions. And if he sees like the things are not working out, he changes him. But he changes him in 15 minutes. And coach says like, I read the game well. One of the times when I feel like I am catching up with these managers is like when these managers like Tuchel and everybody, because then you are always trying to understand, and then you say, hey, why did he change that? Why didn't he? Yeah, that thing was not working. He changed that flank. He changed that flank. With Poch, it's like, bloody hell, everybody can see what is going wrong, and why can't you see this? And he's like just sitting there or standing there or whatever is his philosophy.
You don't
I
like
do
him,
not know what's
obviously.
in his philosophy, but it's clearly not visible. We don't see anything. He does not have those ingredients. He's not that level. So
Okay,
you
can
can
I
give
ask
him
you
10 years,
Sure.
and if in 10 years suddenly somebody hits him on his head and some boxes open up, and then he suddenly have the eureka moment, and then he starts to become
You are
intelligent, that's a
definitely
different thing.
going to the H negative place.
Yeah, but he does not have that. He does not have it.
JC,
Oh my goodness.
I want to say one quick thing. You talked about Lampard and Ancelotti, and yet Lampard beat Ancelotti when Ancelotti was coaching Everton. So, so does that mean?
Yeah,
Lampard
okay.
is
So
a better...
lightning struck one time.
No, hold on.
And now you have
Hold
an
on. Does that
argument
mean
for that.
So does that mean
Can we
he's a
talk
better
one by one?
coach? No.
Jesse, let you speak. Let him speak. And I want us to move on from
Does
this.
that-
We don't have too much
and
time.
the
We still have more
and the
items
other-
to discuss.
And the other quick thing is, Klopp, I would consider an elite manager. But guess what? My cousin is a diehard Liverpool fan, and I watched him. And guess what? His first 2 to 3, maybe longer, his first years in Liverpool, his in-game decision making was so poor. He never shut up shop. Have a look at how many points he would lose from a winning position because he played rock and roll. So
Roger,
look at Pep in the Championship final. He outthought himself.
Let's be honest.
Managers do make mistakes.
Roger, you are doing the same thing which Poch does. He is comparing himself to Klopp and Pep Guardiola. He should bloody get out of here. And you are doing the same.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that coaches / managers are fallible. But also, Klopp has made mistakes. And you brought in Ancelotti versus Lampard. But guess what?
Yeah,
Lampard's beaten Ancelotti before.
I explained. Lightning struck once. Lightning struck once. Lightning strikes once, not every day.
It's because he had an inferior team at Everton compared to a Chelsea
But
team.
with Poch, it is an everyday story. So playing players out of position, not understanding who has which strengths.
Everton finished below Chelsea with Ancelotti at the helm. So obviously Lampard is a far superior manager. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not just the manager.
We have to move on. Let's give those in the chat the microphone.
You can give him 10 years, but I would say,
I never said 10 years.
We will be in a very bad shape. If he's here for 10 years, God help us.
He was never saying give him 10 years. I'm sure you know that, Jesse. Let's move on from this place. Let's move on. Let's give those in the chat. Let's give those in the chat the microphone and move on from this topic, please. Those in the chat are the most important people. We have to give them the microphone, and we don't have too much time right now. But coach, what are the players we are looking into? Osimhen and the Gyökeres aren't exactly bargain prices. No, they're not. Maybe that's the last two you can say players that they probably pay premium for, in my opinion. But my point is that we've signed a lot of good up-and-coming players that in the future we're not going to be spending that much. That's just my opinion. I'll pick up to you to the Prince is here. Nice to see the Prince good day. Everyone at Poch, it shouldn't have happened in the first place. It has happened, and we're stuck with him. And I know he stays till at the end of the season. I have my opinion on him. I don't want to get into that because we're here to discuss something else. It's just that two of our panelists have something they want to sort out, and I think they've slugged it out. We have to move on from them. As well as we have here, no agenda on the guy, but he needs to go. Let's see, no football project works like that. Maya, the rapper, I like Maya so much. Leeds didn't start the best. I'm not going to get into that argument. It doesn't matter. We beat them. I get it. It wasn't the best of performances, but you have to remember, we showed character. The fact that we conceded false Keyshawn, I disagree on this one. I don't care. Had we lost, it'd be that we lost against Keats. Now we won. You're trying to tell me you're still complaining that we beat the second 11. It doesn't matter. We won, more importantly. It's football. They're all paid. They're all professionals. But I get your argument where you're coming from. But I've explained to you why I don't buy into that argument. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Osimhen coming to Chelsea on the Poch would be a failure. I have my argument. He's not even my first choice, even though a lot of people would think he would be. Because
Who is your first choice?
My first choice is Santiago Jimenez of Feyenoord, the Mexican international. He's the more complete of all the players we're linked with, and that is if Poch is still our manager. He's more complete. He's good aerially, can good hold up play, can create chances for his attacking pass. He's you can play him on the flanks too. He's the Pochettino's typical type of number 9. Poch remains. Yeah, I think you should check. I'll give you his name so that you can check him out. He's more complete of all the players who attackers were linked with. And Osimhen, that's even a chance that everything we'll be hearing are all rumors. We don't know. I keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go along with anything else. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Then we move to the next topic, and I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. Maya the rapper, De Zerbi won ball here. Even De Zerbi will be more of an experiment. The hiring De Zerbi is no different from the time will be no different from us rehiring Graham Potter, or no different from the time that we hired Graham Potter. It's still experiment. Even Xavi Alonso, as well as he's doing with Leverkusen. And besides, the German league isn't done yet. He hasn't won it, even if he's 15 points ahead of Bayern. Yeah.
Coach, could I quickly just ask a brief question that no one's brought up yet? What did everyone think of Ampadu last night?
You asked Jesse. Let's hear Jesse from that. I need to watch the game again. Jesse, and we have your seats. Phil, you can come in once Jesse speaks. Go ahead, Jesse.
No, I didn't particularly pay much attention to him, but a few times I did look at him. I think if you look at the first half, their team was playing very average. It's like a championship team, and we shouldn't have been like behind. But then, everything was fine, and we did that. But second half is not that they were very good. We just removed our foot from the gas pedal, from the pedal. You can say that. And I saw only a couple of times when he did some tackles on our left flank, who was like right side. He was covering some Gusto thing or Enzo or somebody. But to be honest, I mean, their best player was like on the left wing. Like he was creating opportunities after opportunity. The rest of the team were like, so.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't remember the name of this. Like he was playing on the left wing, and then he was taking a few shots. He really created a lot of chances, and that was a really good player. And he was creating, but Ampadu, I didn't notice much. To be honest, I didn't.
He was their midfielder. He was their double pivot. Pivot. I watched him play for Wales, and I kind of like him. I thought he actually had a solid game. I was just interested what everyone else thought, because we got rid of him for 7 million, and we bought 2 players that were a lot more expensive. I just thought,
what was the name, coach? Can we check of their left winger, or who was this guy who was like?
It was their number 9 that actually won man of the match, but the left winger is Anthony. He got 2 assists.
Yeah.
So you're correct. So he's rated 8.5. Jadon Anthony is his name. He got 2 assists.
He was quality.
Good observation.
I could say he could give competition to Sterling, as Sterling played yesterday, or Mudryk even, but Mudryk was like number 10. So he was quality. All the rest was like I mean, it was up to Chelsea. We just didn't play second half. If we played, they were like, they were not. They are championship.
Why do you think we took our foot off the pedal, JC?
Ask Poch.
Maybe the mentality that Lukic said, the mindset that we've won this.
Tired, maybe a little bit tired, but like but then sometimes the manager has to stand up and say, like, we really need to finish the job. It's not over yet. Yeah, you have to kill the game. You have to have a 2-goal advantage, and if the players are tired, change them around. But I mean, you could see like the way game was going is like one goal and we will be in trouble, and that happened. It's lucky, okay, then it's good that he changed afterwards, but I think we have to kill the games. Winning by one goal is not like in a comfortable position. No. Leading by 2 goals can be said, yes, but by one goal, come on. It's
Yeah,
But have you not
and just
noticed,
quickly, I
though-
want to say this to Phil. If anytime you want to come in, you can always do that. We have, I'm not sure how many minutes we
But
have.
it's
left.
again
Go
the
ahead.
same thing, The manager is sitting besides. He's watching the same game like we all are watching. And if everybody is not happy, and he comes up after the game and he says like, we had a fantastic game, I said like, whom are you telling all these rubbish things? Huh? I mean, he comes out in press and says we had a fantastic game, and we are all. And my personal reaction, I mean, do you think I'm fool? I mean, we saw what was that second half. It was not a fantastic performance. So either
The game overall, it
he's
wasn't. And just
Hollywooding,
people, I don't know if this is of interest to anybody here watching. Paul Pogba has been suspended for 4 years for doping. I think we're all
Who?
well acquainted with the case. Paul
I'm sorry,
Pogba.
who? No, seriously, I couldn't understand you.
Paul Pogba.
Pogba.
I don't know whether to call him. Yeah, Pogba, the former French international. I don't know whether to call him that.
Juve and Man U player, right? Yeah,
you've a Man U player. Yeah. What a life! Again, I think his lifestyle is his biggest enemy, in my opinion.
Coach Roger, I need to go, so I'm really thankful
always
for you
a pleasure,
giving me 5 minutes.
Casey.
Yeah, and have a nice day, everybody.
You too, sir. Be safe.
All right. See, Richard, were you saying something before I give those in the chat the microphone? I think we have about 2 more items to catch there, but let's say you, Roger.
Yeah, that's sad news, actually, what you just said, because, never want to hear someone like that that's sad. Actually, listen, we didn't play a perfect game by any stretch and definition of that. Listen, if you notice the last few years, Chelsea don't get going until we fall behind. For some reason, there's no urgency, on a consistent basis. I'm talking about, and I think that's because we lack leadership on the field. There's no one. There's no one. Listen, who else is there on the field? And I get what JC's saying, but then who are we going to bring in? Poor midfielders, our sitting sixes played 120 minutes. We're going to be playing basically close to 3.5 games in 6 days. This is how injuries happen. We don't have the luxury of substituting. Yeah, we did. We rested bloody Gallagher, but poor Enzo and Caicedo. If we had Lavia and even Leslie Wachuku, you think they would have started, or at least one of them wouldn't have?
One of them would have. I think one of them would have to rest. Probably most likely Caicedo.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, we don't have the luxury. We're kind of. If you look at the amount of players that are missing, it was like 9 players, I think, from last night's game. It's a little bit hand-tied, in some regards. But yeah, they did look a bit leggy, and that's because of the 120 minutes they played. I think I'm not blaming it entirely on that, but it has to be a factor. Let's be honest.
Yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Let's see how quickly I can get. I got it. Let's hire 3 managers at the same time. 300 IQ move. Yeah. If they're able to work together, maybe they'll be able to do better for us. Our touchline is going to be a bit crowded, but fair enough. Yeah, we get results. That's all that matters. Oh my God. Let's see. Well spoken, JC. Yep. JC always. I like debating with him. That's because he comes with fire, and it's always it makes this.
I respect JC.
Yeah. Yeah, but like he brings fire to the panel in terms of debate. He's a he's a strong-willed individual, which usually leads to heated debate. And I'm glad nobody takes anything personal. That's why we
not at
are
all.
just respecting. Yeah. Rich Moneymakers is having a conversation there. Poch won't give us a Champions League ball. So I'm gonna move on. I don't want to state my opinion there. Let's move on. That's not why we're here today. And Keishan is in the house. This season, Poch is a first year though. This is the third team in the Premier League. Yeah. And in the last 2, you could say he did relatively well. Yeah.
Hello,
we're all
Keishan.
yeah. Hola, Keishan, from Roger. We all saw it last night, guys. He's not the guy. I don't have too much issues with last night's case. Okay. But 22 years unlikely to come to your club. Let's see what happens there. We're back, and that's Ziggy Zaga. No, I'm not into saying we're back after a single win. Thank goodness I haven't said that all season, and I'm not going to do that now. They're not consistent enough for me to trust them to the extent of saying we're back. But I've seen a lot of content creators go from we're back to the next show. Fire, let them go. We shouldn't be here. Yeah. Man United are above Chelsea, Roger. He knows that. You're bored different now. Let's see anything else. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and we're going to switch topics, and then I will try the best I can to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. That's I don't know, Rich. I don't see that. I think that he's having a conversation with JC there. Mudryk has one less goal than Gabriel Martinelli this season. That shows you how well he's done. I've always known there's a good player in him. He's not perfect, but if you play him consistently, there's some talent in there. Let's see anything else. Tobago saying, Coach, I think what you told me is working. Yeah, it's an experiment, and I think it's working. That's because we're reaching a set of, you could say, consumers that we've not been able to reach with by just producing full screen content, but the vertical content reaches a lot of people. And Roger was more specific. Those on smaller devices, this will be more suitable to the devices they're using. But if you're on a laptop, the small screen will be kind of too small for you. Which is why I've gotten some feedback from fellow content creators says it looks small. I say, yeah, it's designed for mobile consumers, but we'll find a way to stream both mobile and I don't know what language to use, and big screens at the same time to cater for both mobile and not mobile device consumers, if that makes sense. Just keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Ampadu was decent. He had a young CM behind him, and that guy, if he can be played consistently in a single position, either as a defender or a midfielder, he's a talent. And this natural leader, in my opinion. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. And to saying, hit the like button, people, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes to go a long way. I appreciate you all. I cannot thank you all, you guys enough. Let's see what else we have here. Good day to you, to Supreme Courts. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. More modern hustle of Doyikishan, just having a good conversation there. So I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. We don't have too much time. And we have big up, Coach. I am happy with the win, but Sanchez should never start in goal ever. Chelsea, for Chelsea ever again, Petrovic would have saved the second goal that Leeds scored. I need to watch that again to conclude whether that's the case, and that's from my perspective. But that's why we keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Take away extra time with Liverpool. We haven't lost a game in 5 games. Yeah, but because it was a cup game, a lot of people went bananas on the day. Aka, nice to see you. Big up to you, my Ivorian Ivory Coast brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I do have to say that Casado's forward passing ability should be utilized better. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now. That's because he's the only player that we have right now available right now, suitable for that sitting DM role. He's the one that's always charged with the responsibility of protecting the defensive line. I think he needs to be unleashed. He has excellent passing range on the carpet, and his long passes are also almost always on target. So yeah, he gets the chance soon. I think he'd do better for us. It's not traditionally a 6, and I did argue that even before we signed him. This guy and loan DM. Yeah, I knew that before we signed him clearly, and has a very interesting skill set. Yeah, he will come. He will do even better for us. Yeah, because he's showing he has it in him. We love Chelsea. Chelsea is the best. Same here, and thank you for joining. When is Chelsea getting up the charts, man? They need to step up their players' chemistry. I think that takes time. Yeah, I don't know what happened tonight, but I think something happened. Maybe I need to reintegrate it. No, and so in the quarterfinals, why has he yellow cards? We need Mbappe. He's gone. Mbappe is gone. We shouldn't have let Sanchez go to Strasbourg. I think Casadei, for me, if I had to choose between the two of them, I would choose Casadei. I think he has more to his game to Sanchez, but that's just my opinion. Maybe I need to see Sanchez more. I know Sanchez is good. So good that we were actually doing whatever we can at the time to get him to be part of the Graham Potter squad, and it didn't work out because he didn't have going by the points system there to get work permit. He didn't have enough at the time. Gary Neville, the next report we have it. Gary Neville doubles down on this billion pound border jobs jibe at Chelsea. Admits it was a pre-planned. Reviews his post-commentary talks with the Sky Sports and says that Arsenal was similar last year. Here's the thing: if anything, if it pains you as a player that he's saying that, prove him wrong. That's how I see it. In my opinion, he has a good relationship with Pochettino himself. So if it pains any of those players, prove him wrong by performing whenever you get a chance to play. But here's the thing: the only argument I have, I've said this before. People always say we spent $1 billion without deducting how much we made from player sales. But I'm just going to leave it at that. Roger, I don't know if you have anything else to say about Gary Neville's comments.
Yeah, listen, that's him, isn't it? He's got an agenda. He hates Chelsea. He hates Liverpool even more. He admitted that he was upset the fact that Chelsea allowed Liverpool to get another trophy. Yeah, because he wants Liverpool to win as little as possible, because that's his club's main rivalry. That's how he sees it. And listen, they've got more trophies than Man U. They've got 52, I believe. So, and that excludes the Charity Shield. What?
Oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So he really wanted Chelsea to win that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's more upset than anything. So, I find it funny, actually. I really do. Yeah, historically, let's have a look. Man U have 46 trophies. Liverpool have 52, excluding the Charity Shield. I don't count that as a major trophy. So, yeah, bragging rights, I believe you can call it. So,
yeah. Let's see what we have here. Enzo had 2 yellow cards, so okay. No, we shouldn't have called Casadei back at all. He's not gonna get. Yeah, that's where I'm concerned. So maybe he gets a chance. We don't know. These players will be tired. Chances are he starts the next game. I think he's good enough to even start. So to start for us against Brentford, he has that physicality, and you can say he's mature beyond his age, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion anyway. We'll see to that. Let's see. Mudryk in the number 10 was interesting. Some good moments in the first half. I won't hold my breath. I won't hold my breath though. This squad is proven. It's too inconsistent. Kids will always be kids, and when you can say when you have a lot of as many young players as we have right now, and the fact that we have an entirely new squad, I think that's a correct argument. Inconsistency is expected, in my opinion. But let's talk about this quickly, Roger. Mudryk in the 10 role, he looked at home.
Yeah. Listen, I'd have to watch the game a second time, but I was surprised he played in the middle. I expected him to play out left and for Sterling to play centrally. And listen, the actual Sterling made that same cutback that he made to Gallagher in the cup final. It was virtually identical kind of build-up, actually. And listen, I thought he executed well. He still has a lot to improve on, but I'm convinced now that I don't think Sterling should be starting anymore. I want to see Mudryk start as many games as he's healthy enough to start until the season finishes, because
did you see he has good passing range in him too, switching from one angle to the other? Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what I find frustrating with Mudryk? He does like the he can make a very incisive pass, a reverse pass especially. You know, he actually executes the harder passes, but then within a few seconds he'll turn around and can't execute a 3-yard simple pass that a 5-year-old can do sometimes. He's so inconsistent. Maybe it's because he needs playing time more. I honestly believe he's very raw, and that's a polite way of saying that he's not polished. And he needs time. And I think playing time is essential because I look at this season, for all intents and purposes, with all due respect, as an elongated preseason for next season. And we know what Sterling gives us, but we don't know what Mudryk gives us. So I think it behooves us to play him as much as possible and see if he can improve and get a fuller understanding of what is required and build a chemistry with his fellow players, because his ceiling is very high potentially, you know. But you know, especially if you watch Sterling lately, especially in the cup final, he was a statue. We were carrying him. He was, for all intents and purposes, he didn't add anything to the game, and I mean that politely. I'm just being honest. And so, yes, he's provided a few assists and he scores occasionally, but for all intents and purposes, I don't believe he's starting material. We don't know whether Mudryk is starting material, so we need to find out. And so let's play him as much as possible. He has a ceiling, a high ceiling, but can he achieve that? And if he doesn't start next year, he needs to go out on loan.
Would you say Sterling of late? Would you say that Sterling of late looks disinterested? Sometimes comes across as not that interested.
Look at his body language, especially last night. I paid special attention to it. When you rewatch the game, as soon as he was dispossessed or we lost possession, he literally walked. There was no urgency whatsoever. Pay attention to that when you rewatch the game. It's really embarrassing. I find that unacceptable, you know. And he did that in the cup final. That's why he was, I think, substituted in the 61st minute, whatever number it was. He was woeful. And listen, I'm actually glad that he started last night because of rotational purposes, so that he doesn't start this Saturday. You know, I'd rather see him play because of minutes in a bloody cup game than in a.
He was going to start, but we called Mudryk and Mudryk. We knew he was going to start, and they did well.
What?
I don't like saying Roger will go to the H place, but
it's truthful though. I'm sorry. I'm done with him.
That will be the manager's plan. You never know. Chances are that's exactly what the manager wants to do. Yeah, let him start and then bench him the next. Bench him the next game. I think he needs a wake-up call. I don't like the body language. I think the body language, you could say, probably stems from the fact that he feels like there were games he was benched. Probably felt like the manager should have let him. There were games he was hauled off. Probably feels like the manager should have let him finish those games or let him start a starting game, because he feels like probably the best player at Chelsea. I'd say he feels the same, but we're stuck with him. That's where the biggest issue we have with Raheem Sterling. 25 likes, but the poll just doesn't make sense. We have a poll that asks a question that says we need one more like, can you be our hero? 55%, 82% said yes, I would like the video now. And given that 80% said I would like the video now, plus 80%. I said I have liked the video already. We have 56 participants, so we should. I don't know why we have just 25. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, if you haven't, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And thank you for nearly 22 subscribers for this particular show. Sincerely do appreciate that. The commentators on ESPN yesterday did mention that they hated Gary saying it, and actually added that we sold most of our players. I was really surprised they were critical and objective. That's an excellent one, Aka. You hardly see that, Roger. Did you see that comment there? We hardly see that. Usually, they all agree as if they are, again, members of the parliament, just saying here to what somebody.
Indeed.
But that's a shock.
Yeah, I watched the show.
Somebody mentioned, yeah, we did sell a lot of players, and we've always said that a lot of people keep saying we spent, and never at any time take that. It doesn't seem as if they've taken their time to calculate, to deduct how much we made from player sales. I don't like that really, but thank you for that. That's a delicious comment. TalkSport, and does anyone like that? I don't like TalkSport. I don't even watch them at all. Mudryk did play there a bit before he moved to the flanks, and he looked lost once he moved to the flanks. By the way, Gallagher is starting to develop some solid ball playing ability. You can say he's become more confident in his ability, especially to find solutions in tight spaces. I have to be honest. Hate him or love him. I think he's improved so much and can only get better. Look how important this has been for us this season. And if anybody thinks the club I think, here's the thing. Beyond, let's say, if anybody thinks the manager right now, any other player is more important for them to the managers preferred approach to football than Gallagher, you're not telling yourself the truth, or maybe you're not paying attention. Whether you think it's good enough or not, but that's besides the point. I think it's the manager's most important player, in my opinion. He talks about your club setup. Yeah, I know. He works for Chelsea, so he cannot say too much, but he's funny and has a good analysis. Say, badmouth your boss, and then the next paycheck will come from your family member, not the club. Sterling is far too frustrating, despite his age, his experience, maybe. He needs to lead and doesn't put in the effort, though. He hasn't led by example, though he is the one who most likely to be involved in goals. Frustrating. I've never been consistent. He was average, in my opinion, but a good commentator. Sterling even said he will be Chelsea's top scorer. I didn't like that. That led to him being unnecessarily selfish at times. I think that has changed because probably he saw people circulate a video of him holding onto the ball or trying to score when he had a teammate better positioned that if he squared the ball to the teammate, we'd get a goal. But he ends up probably hitting the goalkeeper straight. Sterling, like Rashford, not great mindset, body language. Yeah, I think I agree. Rashford, Sterling, not great. Yeah, I think that's the same. A repeat of what you just said above. I noticed we get more criticism than any other club. That's even Manchester United. Yes, then your success defines how much criticism you get from people in most cases. Us selling our players is not even an excuse. They were replaced well, and the manager doesn't resonate with them that well. That should be considered a fault. Yep, I agree. Mabats 05 versus Kachila and Roger would be a good duo in the charity match, similar to Lampard and Jova. I hope Kachila and Roger can replicate that at Wembley. Here's the thing. I think I'll play well, but I like to sit deep. Yeah, I like to be in control of but when last did I play football? Since we moved to Vegas, I haven't. At Jersey, used to play a lot of indoor soccer, but you can argue with 3 kids these days, do you even get a chance to exercise properly? Marcus Rashford and Sterling, what's wrong? I don't know. I hope this Al Hilal rumors with Sterling, it's true. the God of Fruit. Nice to see you, God of Fruit. I hope you're doing well. Roger, anything else you want to talk about the game? Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Sanchez played, as I said before, because that reaffirmed my suspicions that he's not the number one. And
No,
sadly, no, and sadly, I'm really, you know me, I have more emphasis on a defensive portion of the game, the aspect of it, and we can't seem to keep clean sheets, and we're vulnerable. I think we're very. Listen, we can critique players about not being clinical, but conversely speaking, we also have issues defensively, maybe more so than offensively, because we have a +1 goal difference in the Premier League. I mean, as badly as we are scoring goals, we're virtually equally as poor defending it. And to be successful, we need to keep and maintain more clean sheets. And this needs to happen for us to be successful. And when I'm not seeing that. I understand that we've been injury ravaged on the defensive line. I get that. I concede that. But still, you know, players like Disasi, who last week looked like a world-class defender, let's be honest. He was outstanding. And then to put up performances prior to and following his game against City, it's just, what does that tell you? They're young, and this is indicative of having young players and that aren't in their prime. And this is my main concern about this project, is the lack of leadership and the lack of experience. You know, and that's what really concerns me. I'm not sure we can turn this boat around unless we either grow up mentally fast or we inject some seniority into this squad. But the right type of mentality, not just any senior. He has to be a born leader, like a Terry. Do you see what I'm saying? We need people like that, and we're lacking that right now. Now, these players in our squad could indeed very well mature into that kind of mentality, but currently it's lacking.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roger. I appreciate that. We fully deserve the criticism. In fact, I think we criticize Chelsea enough, if anything, according to Supreme Court. So I am fed up of people like Stephen Boson saying we haven't points of deduction. And I repeat, it isn't to his thing. Even if they decided to, I don't think they deduct that much from us. Everton got reduced to 6 points, right? I can't quite remember. The appeal works. Yeah. So So that's enough to save them, to keep them in the Premier League. But the other clubs will be furious because it's more like the FA is trolling them. Gallagher forever saving us, and people will still slag him. I don't slag him. I don't think he's the best player at Chelsea. I don't think he's the worst either, but I think he's needed. And every team needs a Gallagher. And he's actually proven to be that player that people, more than just the player that people say just runs around. And I keep saying that smart for him to have decided to stay at Chelsea. And it's proven to be one of our most important players this season. If anybody say, yeah, he missed that. What about occasions where there was one he scored two goals in half a second? I'm exaggerating anyway, but you remember that game in particular. He helped us win the game. His commitment, his push, you could see his Chelsea through and through wants to win. And he came on yesterday and saved the day. You need that sort of money. Can buy that sort of player for you. Money hardly does, but that's just my opinion anyway, no matter how everybody sees it. And people will always slag him. He's that sort of player, but he's maturing into an excellent player, no matter how anybody sees it. And beyond being the manager's most important player, I'm starting to say beyond the manager's, from the manager seeing things from the manager's perspective, he's actually been one of our most important players this season. And if you say, yeah, he missed 3 goals against Liverpool, one hit the woodwork, the goalpost. Let's see, how do we, which players we sign will be the leader. Terry wasn't. He grew into it and was helped by Mo. So the manager comes into play in terms of that argument. I'm going to hear from Roger soon, and then we'll round up. After reading all the facts from case, they deserved it because they had 3 chances from the Premier League, and is that charges from the Premier League, and board still didn't listen. 3 charges, I think. Roger, you want to add anything before we call it a day?
Yeah, I also think that Gallagher, the chance where Palmer put him through, I think his first touch was sublime. I think you have to give credit to their keeper. He got a hand on it, left hand on it. I thought he made an outstanding save.
I think a lot of people would consider that? No,
of course not. But I thought he did well.
Yeah.
However, that third opportunity, that when it was passed back to him from Jackson, I think he should at least hit the target and test the keeper. I would criticize him for that, for not hitting the target.
But let's say this too. Not a lot of people are talking about Enzo's attempted back heel. What was he thinking?
You know what,
Roger? Yeah,
to be honest with you,
Gallagher's finish last night showed that he learned from his mistakes.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that was that's a good point also. I'm not sure whether you can say that was a back heel. I've seen that play a dozen times now. He's actually got the ball trapped under him and he's losing possession and he's trying to regain possession. Have a look at it again, especially in slow-mo. It doesn't look like
I'm just bringing it up. Not a lot of people are talking about it, and I love Enzo. I believe he's one of the best players in Chelsea. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, but if you look at it and watch it again and again, it doesn't look like he's trying to back heel it. It looks like he's trying to regain possession, and possibly because he's lost or losing it. Yeah, listen, I could be wrong. Maybe he is trying to back heel it, but it doesn't look like your prototypical back heel, in my opinion. Or was the fact that the ball was moving away from him maybe an adjustment where he did try to back heel it? I don't know. Only he will know deep down. But he should have passed it back to, I think it was Jackson, right? So, but he didn't have possession of the ball.
It wasn't under his feet, like you explained.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I would have, if the world was perfect, yes. But listen, we had 5 missed big chances and we didn't take them. And it's that simple. Yeah. It's the story of our season.
Thanks so much. Yeah, go ahead.
It's symptomatic of our season. That whole game encapsulates our entire season, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Roger. I appreciate you. And I know you were here during the post-game show. I refused to blame him because you can say it's easy to blame him for us losing that game. I was saying, no, what happened to other chances we created? But that's, by the way, why we don't have our former players as board members. Our players need identity. I'm not sure, but thank you for that, Enzo Fernandez. For you guys, a special player he is. With that, we've come to the natural end of the show. And I want to say thank you to all of you. And one more comment there, I'll get that one, and we'll call it a day. Chelsea need to focus on buying some experienced players rather than just buying some wonder kids who just played something like 50 to 100 games in some small matches. That's another argument. But it's a Xavi Ball. I appreciate you for finding the time to join the show, but we're about to round up. Rogers, thank you so much for staying to the end of the show. I cannot thank you enough. And thanks to all of you
Always
in the chat,
from
Xavi Ball to Lucky Scene, thank you, Roger, to the Prince, to Rich Money Makers, to Aka, my Ivorian bro, to Supreme Cause, the Chelsea Blue, 234, Richie Money Makers, all of you in the chat, God of Frogs, my Master 05, and if I missed your name, apologies. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
Good night.
Thank you, Roger.